And that's really where you get a conversation started. People crave telling others how they feel about something, what they think about something. Hey, what's going on, Renaissance Lifers? Welcome back to Renaissance Life TV, where we take life to a whole new level. If we haven't met, my name is Lee, and today I'm excited to talk about how to strike up a conversation with a stranger, or with anyone for that matter. Now, when we're children, a lot of times we may not have that initial fear of speaking to a stranger, but as soon as we become aware of people's thoughts about us, about the world, about other people, then we tend to start to be more reserved about just talking to anybody, a lot of times out of fear. And the other thing is that oftentimes speaking to someone new may seem like a scary thing, but I assure you, they're just a person just like you. In this video, I'm going to talk about some tips on how to strike up a conversation with a stranger or anyone you come across. I actually watched another video from a channel called Charisma on Command that really resonated with me because they're things that I do all the time. So if you have a desire to be able to have the confidence to talk to somebody and know what to say, then this is a video for you. So the first step to striking up a conversation with a stranger or anyone that you meet is small talk. Many of you may have heard about small talk before, and maybe it's something that you're entirely afraid of, or you just feel like it doesn't work. And that's because small talk by itself is not enough. But what small talk means is finding something real, not made up, that exists in your environment already. Something that you can talk about that's relatable, that two people can relate to. I want you to think about something real that you can talk about or that you can bring up that someone else can observe readily. That may in fact be just how hot it is, right? The reason why the weather is used so often is because it really does work. It really is something that anyone can relate to if they're in the same place as you are. But think about the situation that you're in. If you're on the train with someone, small talk can be about how late the train was this morning, or you really hope that the train doesn't break down today, or something about the train that obviously this other person who's on the train could possibly relate to. So that's the first step to striking up a conversation with a stranger, is find common ground to bring up a conversation. And the reality is, it really doesn't matter what you bring up because it's not all that important. It's just an opener. Once you can get someone to engage with the opener one way or another, then you can really put the hooks in and start up a conversation. I will encourage you, don't try to find something entirely random that nobody could relate to. Find something that relates to the person or to you or to the both of you at that particular situation. Like if you're at Starbucks picking up coffee and you meet this person in line, you can talk about Starbucks or something about Starbucks. Or did you hear that Starbucks is releasing a new something? Or, have you ever tried the egg white wraps? I don't even know if they have egg white wraps, but it's something relevant to the environment that you're in at the particular time. Okay, so the next step is probably the most important step to striking up a conversation with a stranger. The small talk usually is not the conversation itself. It's usually just the start to the conversation. The conversation really starts to pick up steam when you ask the person follow-up questions that relate to the conversation starter. So if you ask the person, have you tried this particular drink? Or if you ask them, have you ever tried the egg white wrap? Maybe they'll say that they haven't tried it. Maybe instead you'll ask them, well, what would you recommend? What do you usually get? But the next important thing, once you can get some sort of acknowledgement of your initial small talk question or statement, is that you want to ask them their opinion. What do they think? How do they feel? So if you find out that the person has tried out a particular drink at Starbucks, ask them, well, do you like it? Do you think it's sweet? Or is it a sweet type of drink? Do you find it overly sweet? Or, how would you describe that drink? Do you really like it? Would you recommend it to a friend? Or what do you like about that drink? And that's really where you get a conversation started. People crave telling others how they feel about something, what they think about something. So once you start off with small talk, like the weather, for instance, then you want to follow up with a question about what the person thinks or how they feel. These are more emotion-based questions. The first one is an intellectual question or an intellectual trigger to get the person's mind open to at least respond to you. Maybe it's a yes or no response. But the next question is an emotional trigger that really seeks to get to the heart of the person's feelings, emotions, sentiments. And really, once you can get to a person's feelings, emotions, and sentiments, then you actually get to know about a person, their personality, their character. Is this someone that maybe you want to build a relationship with? That will tell you about the person themselves. Before I give you my last tip for how to strike up a conversation with anyone, really, I would say that what's extremely important with starting up a conversation is to have a genuine interest. I spent some time talking about this in one of my books about how to have genuine interest in people and the importance of having genuine interest in people. If you genuinely want to meet people, know people, love people, and enjoy interactions with people, then you'll genuinely want to converse with them. And when you converse with people and start up a conversation, when it comes from a genuine place, it will generally be well received. You know, everybody is not for everyone, but there must be some people, more often than not, that you can strike up a conversation with. And it doesn't even have to be something super long. You don't have to become best friends over it, but it allows you to have the interactions, and you really never know what that can lead to. The final tip is something I use myself quite a bit, in particular when I go to some sort of social gathering or somewhere where the people who are at that place have been together at some point before. So whether that's school or work, it's somewhere where you're gonna see these people over and over again, but it may be a large enough group that you just haven't met. One of the ways that I approach someone and oftentimes start a conversation is I often say, hey, I don't think we've met before. I'm Lee. And that's really how I'll start the conversation. So generally speaking, the person will introduce themselves, and then from there, we talk about, you know, where do you work, or what department are you with, or, you know, what brings you to this conference, or how many days have you been at this conference. But there will usually be some follow-up question, and then of course, the next question, or either the second or the third question, is always going to be, what do you think about the conference? Or how did you feel about yesterday's presentation on X? Or how did you feel when the presenter dropped his phone during his presentation? So it's always a feeling type question. It really gives you the opportunity to meet people on a deeper level more quickly and help you to realize whether you like the personality, or if it's someone you're considering because you find them attractive. Then you can instantly start to see some aspects of the person's personality, whether they're humorous, whether they're serious. You start to get some hints as to the person's personality and who that person is. And then from there, you can always have further conversation. So if you found this video helpful, I want you to smash the like button. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. I'll see you next time on Renaissance Life TV. Cheers.